Yo, what's good, gang? It's been a while, been a while. I know I ain't seen y'all in a couple of months, but your boy is back. I have to take a little break, get some stuff in the order that I think y'all gonna like. But we are back for this NBA offseason, and the Suns have made another splash, man. They got Bradley Beal, got rid of Chris Paul. We got a lot of NBA conversations to talk about today. So let me go ahead and adjust stuff. Man, I ain't seen y'all in a couple of months. We got a new NBA champion, the Denver Nuggets. Shout out to them. Congratulations, congratulations. Um, but yeah, the NBA offseason is upon us, and the Suns' new ownership is over here doing some dog things. They already got KD, and they just came through and they just say, you know what, we're gonna turn it over. But before we get into all this NBA content, y'all go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, click that bell. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe. And if you haven't, go ahead and click that subscribe. But other than that, man, we're going to get straight into it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's get it, man. So, topic number one, we're going to start off with these good old Phoenix Suns, the hometown team. Bradley Beal gets traded to the Suns. The Suns are giving up more draft picks, all for talent. Got a couple of players in, but no bench depth. They got a new head coach in Frank Vogel. And ultimately new ownership is going in and they're going all out for these next 2 to 3 years. Now, with that being said, we know Phoenix ain't got no defense. It's all offense. And with them trading away more players than getting back, it just feels like they're missing something. I don't know what it is, but they're trying to create something out here that I think might get by, but I think it won't. Um, but first things first. First things first. The Suns are going for a championship. Chris Paul was in that Bradley Beal trade. He was sent to Washington, and then he just got shipped off to the Warriors today in a crazy trade. Man, it's just trades after trades after trades after trades. Like the Celtics just got Porzingis, and they got rid of Marcus Smart. Like they just got rid of the defensive player of the year. Like I don't know what people are thinking, but the NBA is going crazy. Dame Lillard talking about he won't out, but he didn't say he really wants out. He's still sitting in Portland, and they just got the number 3 draft pick. Like so, it's some things going on in the NBA world. I will tell you that right now. But we're gonna bounce back to that Suns trade. I wanted to see what that boy Big Perk had to say about it, man, because Kendrick Perkins always got something to say. And how does he feel about the Suns and them acquiring in a fantastic, not fantastic. Talent wise, it's great, but we got to see how this goes. We got to see how this goes. The Big Perk, we're going to go ahead and tap in with Big Perk, man. Y'all be sure to like and subscribe, man. Drop your comments, man. Let's see what Kendrick Perkins got to say about this. Bradley Beal traded to the Suns.
The Washington Wizards are finalizing a trade to send three-time
This is
All-Star
crazy.
guard Bradley Beal to the Phoenix Suns for a package that's
Wild.
expected to include Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, several second-round picks, and a pick swap. Our senior
So we know
insider
that
Adrian Wojnarowski
Chris Paul
reported
ended
on
up
Sunday
getting
that the
out of
deal
there,
could
and
take a
he is
few more
going
days to
to the
be completed,
Warriors, and he
but
is
Beal
teaming
is
up with
on his
Steph
way to the
Curry.
Suns to form a new
That
big three
involved
with Kevin Durant and
what's his
Devin
name,
Booker.
Jordan
We
Poole,
now welcome back the
who
man
was
that
on his
broke
way
the
to
news most. So
Washington.
how exactly did this
It's a
trade
lot
come
going on.
together?
Richard,
Oh, Milk Dud,
once
Richard
Michael
Jefferson
Winger, the
head
new president
ass,
in Washington, and Bradley Beal, his
Big
agent Mark
Woj.
Bartlestein, started talking about what a future looked like with the Wizards, and it was clear that Winger did not see a pathway to contending with this roster or with any roster that could be put together in the next year or two.
Oh yeah, and he had and Bradley Beal had a no trade clause, so that means he got to pick what team he wanted to get traded to. So he picked Phoenix. He could have picked Miami. He could have picked Boston. He could have picked LA. He could have went to Portland with Dame Dollar. He could have went to the Mavericks. He could have went anywhere that would have took him. And he chose Phoenix. So let that sink in. He chose to come to Phoenix. He knows something we don't know.
It was
Maybe.
clear to Bradley Beal that it was time after 11 years to look elsewhere and find a trade.
No
they
cap.
worked together, and there was no team
You
more
went through the
aggressive,
John Wall
I'm
years. You
told, than
tried
the
to leave
Suns
by
in trying to
yourself,
acquire
and then you
Bradley
went
Beal.
and had Russell
And I think
Westbrook,
none
and then
more
you tried to
willing
do it
take on the
again.
$200
Time to go
million
before your
plus
good
left on
years
the
are
final
up.
4 years
And
of
you were
his
injured
contract.
too.
And I think for Washington,
Get out while you can.
getting that contract off the books, not having to take on any future money, then the second round picks, certainly pick swaps, and the draft capital. Again, Bradley Beal having the no trade clause played certainly a significant role in what the marketplace looked like. He didn't have to go anywhere he didn't want to, but there were not
46,
a lot of teams
50,
who were really
53, 50. I am this. The Suns are going to have to give up major money, man. That's a lot of money. But that last year is a player option. So that means he can choose to leave or choose to go. And if he got a ring, you know. But the Suns have him for at least 3 years. That's wild. So they're trying to, the Phoenix Suns are looking at a ring in the next 3 years. That's what I'm seeing here. They're looking at a ring in the next 3 years.
aggressive in offering up deals that were better than Washington's.
Man.
And willing to take on the rest of Beal's contract. And I think a huge part of that is the new collective bargaining agreement, the new salary cap, and how
Suns ain't gonna have no money, no nothing.
They have over 600.
Bag after bag after bag. Devin Booker, 260 million. Bill, 207 million, and KD, 153 million. And that KD contract is generous because he's going into his mid to late 30s. So you got to look at that. But these other two guys, prime 20s, ain't even hit their 30s yet. Both of them are still in the position to get another bag worth 300 million. God.
And $20 million tied up in
Devin Booker 40 away from 300
All right,
million,
we're
though.
back with our full panel.
Good for them,
You
for
think
real.
that Bradley Beal
Ain't got
was
no
the
money
right
to
guy
spend.
to go all in for?
Yes. We're talking about a guy that just little over 2 years ago was averaging 30. Averaged
That
30
part.
twice in the
That
NBA
part, big
season.
part.
Here's the thing. I know right now they're top heavy, but when it comes down to having 3 of the most prolific scorers on one team, that's what the Phoenix Suns have. And I think the one thing that we don't look at when it comes down to Bradley Beal is his ability to play make. He's an underrated playmaker in this game. So he
true.
can play off the ball.
Say it
You can
again,
put him
Big
on
Perk.
the ball. His
Say it
decision
again.
making is on point. He has a very high IQ. And we've seen Kevin Durant slide to the point forward position, and we never could question how he could make others around him better. This past postseason, we watched Devin Booker take a leap and growth in his
Say it
PG
again, Big
skills
Perk.
when Chris Paul went out. I think this was a great move for the Phoenix Suns, and they're not done yet. This is just the start, but it's a hell of a start. And also, I'm going to end on this. They should be the favorites.
You hear that? They should be the favorites in the West. Now, you see his face. You see Richard Jefferson's face. He's looking like, what? Over Denver? So they just lost? Well, you got to look at this. The Suns are a run and gun team. You can't run and gun with a point guard like Chris Paul who want to play half court offense and get hurt every other series. You can't. That's not consistent. You need guys that can thug it out and rug it out. With Bradley Beal, just like Big Perk said, you got Devin Booker who can run the point, Bradley Beal who's run the point, and Kevin Durant who can run the point. All 3 of your guys that you're paying the most money can run the point and control a game and run tempo. And they're not taking the load. See, what you have to look at is that a lot of these teams their top 2 players are taking the whole load. Well, if you got 3 dudes that can take the load and they're all sufficient on a nightly basis, and they're not missing games like that because they're not having to take the brunt of the load and they can get their rest. I mean, you got to understand it's a culture change. When you change ownership, you change coaching. You got to realize that certain things that was with the Suns wasn't working. Players weren't working. Coaches were arguing with players. Players are still not happy. Shoot, DeAndre Ayton still might get traded just because we know he doesn't want to be in Phoenix. So if we can't get at least a somewhat big, a couple of bigs or a couple of guards, or we can't get something for DeAndre Ayton because he is a valuable big. It's just not working in Phoenix no more. Somebody will take him. Somebody will take him. That might be the next big splash or the next big trade. You don't know. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. But Phoenix is going all in right now. I respect it. I love it. I don't see nothing wrong with it, to be quite frank. I mean, if you're going in for a championship and you want to make all these moves, man, do what you have to do. Because that window is only open for so long. And if Phoenix says, okay, you know what? We had our window with Chris Paul. We got there, but we couldn't get there again. And then the year after that, we couldn't get there again. And the year after that, we couldn't get there again. And what was all that consistent? He was injured. It's that simple. He got injured. So you take the oldest player off the team and you replace him with a 27, 28-year-old Bradley Beal. How is that bad? How is that bad? It's not. Think about now, forget about later. Because when the Suns win a championship in the next 2 to 3 years, everybody's going to say, oh, they're so smart for getting KD and doing this and doing that. Devin Booker said, I want to bring a super team to Phoenix. I'm not leaving Phoenix. I'm going to find that and I'm going to put that in here. He said it. And it's come to him. He's made it to a championship. He's been to the playoffs for multiple years straight. Everything that man said had spoken into existence. So believe it because you see in it. But all he has to do is win that championship. And hey, Devin Booker is the greatest Suns player ever. Mark my word. That's gonna do for this one, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think about Bradley Beal coming to the Phoenix Suns, man. You know they out here making moves. But we're going to get on to these other trades later on in these other videos. So y'all be sure to tap in, like, comment, subscribe, click that bell, all that good stuff. This your boy Weasel. We back up in this thing. You know this thing.
Devin Booker signed an extension with the Suns. Okay, so he's going to be in Phoenix for who knows how long. And he says that he wants the super team to come to him. Jalen Rose, free agents, big-time players, all-stars coming to Phoenix via free agency or trade or whatever. Do you think that is really real? A super team could come to Devin Booker?
I'm not going to say super team because what makes that happen is when you have multiple all-NBA performers.
Yes.
For me, is what makes the term super. The Golden State Warriors are the only one in today's game that exists, in my opinion. With that being said, Phoenix can be a destination for free agents when you have cornerstone players that are game-changing. In Booker, who's a terrific offensive weapon, and Ayton, who they took #1 overall, who's getting the points, getting the rebounds, getting you the blocks. I do see Phoenix as a place that if they're able to tab the right free agents, get them signed, that could become a destination where people want to go play. And I applaud Devin, Dame Lillard, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, the Greek Freak, all of these guys who got drafted to teams that the national media always wants to put them on large market teams.
You know who I applaud? I applaud
And they re-signed
KD.
and they owned it.
And I applaud LeBron James to playing wherever they want to play. Like you celebrate players staying on the same team like it's some sort of badge of honor. Guess what? Go play wherever you want to play, KD. Go to New York next year if you want, KD. LeBron, go to Los Angeles because you enjoy the environment. Do it.
I am not mad at LeBron and or KD. These are all-time great players. They can do whatever they want, clearly. But it damages the balance of the league when you have first-team All-NBA players, when you have MVP-type players in their prime, instead of opposing one another, joining up to play against each other, play with each other. Let me give you a better example. At the park, When it's time to pick teams,
I want the best team possible.
correct, but who gets a chance to pick the teams?
Best players.
Boom! The 2 best players. Okay? It's not the 2 worst players, because you don't want the 2 best players to be on the same team. I got you there.
You did not get me there.
I got you there.
I don't like picking the teams because I feel like if we win, then I kind of made my team too good, and if we lost, then I didn't make my team good enough.
I don't
never
know
liked
where
to
that
pick
example came from, but as somebody that plays 100% more basketball than I do, I stumped you there.
teams. You did not, Jalen.